mine won't be that long. So I grew up in Berea, and I shared my testimony not too long ago, but I grew up in Berea, and my parents moved around a lot. My dad worked as a civil engineer, and so he would work on large construction projects. After 2, 3, 4 years, they would finish the project, and then they would move. They moved to Berea. There's a aluminum recycling plant in Berea, and they moved to Berea when that was being built. And so after, again, 2 or 3 years, the project was over. But at that time, I believe I was 3 when they moved to Berea, and they said, you know, let's just, if we can, let's try and not move anymore. We've got, 2 kids in school, and a third that'll be in school before too long. And so they settled down there in Berea. When I told about my testimony, I kind of told about mostly about their story and how they both were saved. And then every town that they moved to, they had an independent fundamental Baptist church that they were in the whole time that they were there.
Amen.
And so when they moved to Berea, again, the Lord gave them an independent fundamental Baptist church there. And so from the time that, from the time that I was born, I was in church. But at the time of, 3 years old, that's about, I don't even know if I remember back to 3 years old. But from about the time of 3 years old, really, that's my childhood. Grew up in Berea, I still live in Richmond, so live there close. But grew up in Berea at Faith Baptist Church down there. And I remember there's a lady that's still there. She was actually one of the first bus kids from when that church started. She was a bus kid. She's still there today, but she was my Sunday school teacher. And I remember I was 4 years old, almost 5. And I know that's young, and I want to be careful with my kids and anybody's kids that they're not led to say a prayer, right? We don't ever want to 1, 2, 3 pray after me. But I remember in that Sunday school class, I don't remember specifically about the lesson, but I remember when we left, as we were all walking out of, and her name's Brenda Richardson. When we were leaving out of her class, she said, if you're not saved, you can talk to me about that, or you can talk to somebody about that. And now that just burned in my heart that I knew I wasn't saved, and that I knew if I died, I would go to hell. And so I went to my parents, and my dad took me after service. Of course, at that point, service was over. But I went to my parents, and I said, hey, I would like to be saved. Can we talk about this? And my dad took me, and we knelt at an altar there, and that's when I was saved.
Amen.
So I was young, but I know and I remember that decision. So that's just what really sticks with me. I don't particularly remember the day like a lot of people say, but I do remember that it was June or July, and I would have turned 5 in August. So I do remember the close time frame there. I don't know if we have the day written down in a Bible somewhere, but I do remember the time, and I remember the moment that I was saved.
Amen.
So,
Amen.